Community is the fundamental for and that platform for the conversation of it.
I feel like it's important that you define synthetic data versus actual data to train the models.
The data is around condition patterns, lifestyle, which you've seen in real life.
Let's just peel one sort of layer over the other, but definitely exciting.
Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to Amplify AI. Consider this podcast your digital compass for you, the business leader wanting to use artificial intelligence ethically and in alignment with your brand's identity to achieve your business goals. Leading and running a business in the world of AI is like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But this podcast and I are here to make that easy. Every episode is a masterclass in unlocking techniques for using AI as a business leader, founder, owner. Thanks for being here. Let's learn.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is episode number 78 of Amplify AI. My name is Ronsley, and I'm very, very happy you joined me. This is part 2 of a great conversation I had with a legend called Biliana Barker. She is the founder of Seneca Advisory, and her mission is to help guide healthcare organizations in fostering innovation by leveraging technology, and she's doing that really well using AI. And we talk a lot about how AI is helping advance a lot of really cool parts about the healthcare journey. In this particular episode, we talk about the considerations in AI and ensuring technology serves the community effectively. We cover importance of collaborative efforts in shaping technology to meet our needs as humans, the different strategies for high quality AI training, and the role of humans as educators of technology. We are really responsible for how this thing goes forward. I've said this way too many times. This artificial intelligence will easily be the biggest conversation of our lifetime, and we have to converse and be knowledgeable enough to have that conversation. But also in this episode, we give you practical advice for businesses on adopting AI ethically and focusing on data management and security. I'm excited for this episode. Come, let's learn.
How do you see the ethical guidelines being used? Because there's another thing that came up in the part of the conversation is, making sure that the wrong people don't create this ethical framework of sorts. And if that happens, then it defeats the point. And also the idea that it's so powerful that everyone should have access to it and not only select few. How do you see the whole ethical debate, and what do you see that ways that we can contribute to it?
We can contribute to many ways, and my biggest driver at the moment as innovator in healthcare space is really to ensure we use the collaborative strengths of technology and human knowledge, expertise, and skills. If we manage to get that balance right, we will benefit enormously from the technology and AI as enabler, but not as a driver necessarily to lead us on what and how to do things. So if we take away for a little bit the AI and technology, and we think what would be in normal world the process that we were gonna use to innovate, what will be the normal process of us communicating culturally to our employees within healthcare or any other industry within our community. Extremely important, because community is the fundamental for and that platform for the conversation of it. And if you bring together, collaborate, communicate, and co-design the process around this, the thinking around what we want and how we want things to work for us, that then will communicate to the technology and say to the tech companies and the tech sector and feed into the design phase of the technology on how best this would serve the community, the population, the country, etc. So really important to start these conversations and co-create the processes around that, even sometimes leaving the tech a little bit on the side and see what is the human input for that. Technology is good as the human input in it. AI will be as good as the human input in it. But there is another aspect of AI specifically. AI models need training. If we are ensure that this training is high quality training and we all accept the fact that we have to become teachers, we have to become the lecturers, we have to become the mentors, not only for our community, not only for our kids, but for technology, that would inevitably be a better technology that will enable us to do miracles and to build meaningful industries and meaningful businesses. And again, within the ethics space, there's a lot of philosophy involved, but how we can make it a bit more tangible and a bit more structured. Maybe we will need to help and grow our own ethical AI experts. We will need to really look at, again, how we communicate because of the data and where the data will going to be used, and be mindful of how to store this data. And this is purely technology conversation. At the moment, there's a ways to store the data very securely, and it looks like it's working, at least in healthcare and finance industry. So there's a way of also training synthetic data. So in order to use AI for the purposes of healthcare or finance, you don't have to put the real data, but you can create synthetic data and train AI on that. So these are the ways to use and buy some time until we understand where the conversation is going, because sometimes we are really in a position that we need to buy some time. But equally, if we don't expose that, if we don't test and experiment, if you don't bring it into reality, we wouldn't know how this would look like and how this would work.
I want to land this plane because it's important to get the essence, and you covered a lot of stuff in what you just said. But for the people listening, for businesses looking to adopt AI from an ethical standpoint or a usability standpoint, what kind of advice do you have?
I would say look at how you process and how you store data. Use data storages that are reliable. Technology partners can definitely advise on that. They're a bit more expensive, but they're secure. Ensure access to that data in a very kind of a limited and controlled environment. So if you have a big company, make sure that, for example, the people who only need access to this data have access to this data, not everybody. That's not difficult to do nowadays. Also, ensure how you communicate to your clients and to your customers before you ask for their data. Tell them why you need the data, where this data is going, and what is your commitment to do with that data. Because if it's unclear, and this is a business you interact often, just ask them, guys, what are you doing, where my data is going, and what's going to be the next. So ensure you communicate to your customers in a very clear manner. Get legal advice, still relevant in a way you write this, but make sure it's really simple and straightforward. And if you need to train models, and especially in healthcare, we need a lot of data to train models, anonymize that data. It's totally possible. And use the actual information, not the actual data related to people in terms of demographics and who you are, etc. Or use synthetic data. Technology companies can help you with that. So this is the way for you to control the environment of usage of the data. So these are the ethical, practical sides of advice I can give from my healthcare experience.
Oh, amazing. And just because you said synthetic data so many times, I feel like it's important that you define synthetic data versus actual data to train the models. What's the best way to explain that?
If you have a healthcare cohort of patients with specific condition, you can inform the AI that the data is around condition patterns, lifestyle, which you've seen in real life, but you are creating that synthetically without linking that to a real people and real demographics or real, names and numbers that exist. So if you have a technology partner who can help with that, they would be able to create that. Same is for the finance sector as well.
Yeah, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Seneca Advisory is where you go to find out all the cool stuff that Biliana is up to. Connect with her on LinkedIn, and all those links will be in the show notes. Biliana, thank you so much. This has been cool.
Thank you so much for having me, and good luck in this mission of educate on AI. It's incredibly exciting, and if you use the collaborative strengths of technology, knowledge, expertise, and skills of the humanity, I think we will get there.
It's definitely something that is one step at a time sort of situation. So otherwise it gets too big and too massive for me to even comprehend. It's just like, let's just peel one sort of layer over the other, but definitely exciting. And thank you for being part of it for sure.
Thank you very much.
Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to aigeeks.co. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until then, much love.